Well, after being gone for literally an entire year, I decided to finally come back out of retirement just to check out this update, and I'm a little bit shocked to see that it's actually not half bad. It's actually a pretty good update, all things considered. For those of you who are just now discovering this channel for the first time because of the Doors update, hi, I'm Berkhay. I'm level 331 on this game, and I've been playing for the past 3 years. So before you say anything about me not being experienced or qualified enough to talk about any towers or balancing, trust me, I know my stuff. I've seen it all. Might as well just get into this tower review right now. The person we're going to be reviewing today is El Goblino, and well, I'm not going to be saying that name ever again, so for now on, we're just going to call him Larry, okay? Just every time I say El Goblino, it's Larry, okay? That's his name. Larry here classifies as a support tower because he does not attack enemies directly. He actually attacks them using this little trap he puts on the floor here. And what happens is whenever enemies walk over it, let's say like this fire slime here, whenever enemies walk over the trap, it'll do a set amount of damage and immediately they'll just keep on going. Now, the big thing about Larry is that he can only place traps when his range is near the path, and he'll always try to place traps next to one another to avoid clutter. Now, you may be thinking, oh, that's kind of a cool gimmick. Well, it doesn't end there, exactly. You see, when you start leveling up slowly, you get this new ability for 3.8 seconds called Seek. Now, this is a trap now. So what this means is when that same fire slime walks over it, it will immediately become trapped for, I believe it was 3.8 seconds, and it will just continue on its day. Now, the further we go into the levels, the more you see how these piles actually work. So here's the level 2 pile, for those of you who didn't know. It's 60 damage, it traps them for 3.8 seconds, and this immunity thing, what this means is that's how long they are going to be immune to this type of stun. So they cannot get stunned by other piles for 23 seconds. And this countdown starts the literal millisecond they are trapped. And the speed 0 means that they can't move. That just means the enemy is not able to move at all. So now that we're at level 3, you're going to be seeing that this trapped is now getting even more duration. Damage 100, and I mean, we can just do the same thing, honestly. Just spawn a couple of these guys. And as you can see, they just immediately die, so... yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a cool concept. I like it. So now that we have gotten him to level 4, well, now he has 18 seconds before he can plant something. His range goes up a little bit more. The snare, basically how long the stun is, goes up more, and the damage goes up even more. If you want to take a look at the stats, here you go. The under HP mechanic is still in the game for this level 4. So let's say we spawn in this Inferno Slime. When he gets hit by it, he becomes stuck for the 5.8 seconds, and then he'll just continue on his day while being immune to it for the rest of the 20-second duration that's already counting down that you cannot see. Now, lastly, when we get to level 5, things change. As you can see, this tower actually does have an ability, and I will go into depth on how this ability works and what I think of it personally, but as of now, I really do think that this guy is really, really good, but also still balanced. That he shouldn't need a nerf anytime soon. You see, Larry at level 5 now does 300 damage. A 7-second stun, which is the highest time a stun can be on a target in the entire game as of right now. The second most being a maxed out level 5 bite whenever bite hits something, but bite doesn't do any damage. So, and it has a 25-second immunity, but it's able to hit a lot faster. So, really, it's up to you. I'll go into depth about that here in a second. Once again, if we spam a couple Inferno Slimes, they are just going to get stuck there permanently. And just wait, and 7 seconds later, yep, they're gone. And by the way, when the immunity kicks in, they are immune to trap damage as well. They're not just immune to stuns, by the way. Now, that's cool and all, except we still haven't talked about the ability yet, the Crucifix. When we spawn that in, he'll spawn a random Crucifix around his range in one of the piles that he's already made. The Crucifix is the ultimate stalling machine. So you see this damage 10% here, and what this means is whenever an enemy walks over this crucifix, or at least gets within range of the crucifix, the first enemy he sees will be caught by it, and he will do 10% of their total health to that enemy and stun them for 10 seconds, and you cannot use another crucifix for another 60 seconds, starting the second that they get stunned. Now, this doesn't seem too overpowered, except this 10% can increase with our boy Spectre giving it another 100%, making not only the traps do 600 damage now, but the crucifix is now doing 20% health. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look. Let's spawn, and this works on bosses, by the way, just letting you know. So let's spawn in one of my favorites, okay? The Blast Tech Brawler Test, okay? This is a boss with 1 million health. It's purely just to help with damage numbers. As you can see, immediately gets hit for 200,000 health and is stuck there for 10 seconds on top of the fact that he now has to worry about these as well. So the second he spawned in, he has been stunned for a total of 17 seconds straight. Now, I don't know about you, but that's kind of broken on bosses. A 17-second stun, along with dealing 20% of their max health in an instant, is kind of busted. But that's where the balanced part comes in for this tower. Let's spawn in this guy called Ambush. If you don't know who he is, New Doors enemy, just literally he runs around the map 4 times, okay? You'll see. So let's spawn in a few. As you can see, he immediately gets stunned, and this little loop thing means he's going to come back around 3 times around the entire map before he'll actually be able to kill you. So as you can see, he's going all the way down there. He's going to once again keep going all the way down there. He's going to come back around. But as you can see, the main thing I'm pointing out is he, Goblino doesn't have enough time to keep putting meats down. And this is only one enemy. Now, if we start putting in, let's say, a bunch of slimes, for example, can you shut the hell up? So let's say we put in, like 4 fire slimes, like a very weak enemy. Yeah, they just go right through it. Only one of them got killed. This guy has 0 pierce, 0 area damage. So if a bunch of weak enemies get by and trigger your traps, you're pretty much screwed. Any kind of non-boss or non-very tanky enemy with decent speed getting by and consuming this, especially if they were to consume the crucifix, which, watch this, yes, even normal enemies can consume the crucifix. Oh, he's gone now. Okay. Now, the main thing about Goblino, how he counters is that, well, he has a limit of 3. However, there's one problem with the ability. When one person uses the ability, every single Larry in the entire map will go onto cooldown for this ability here. This means you can only place 1 crucifix at a time for every, the cooldown's almost 3 minutes long, so it takes a while. Now, we've already discovered that this tower is not very good on their own. However, what if we were to combine Goblino with something like a melee tower? For example, the infamous Chef. This dude recently just got a buff this update that increased his range and reduced his cost, which made him actually a lot better than what he used to be and a viable option for endgame now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place down a bunch of chefs together, exactly the 1-player limit that is. I'm going to place down 12 chefs. So after upgrading all the chefs, what we're now going to do is put an El Goblino right about here and get him to level 5, but we're also going to use a Balloon Pal to increase the range of all the troops in the area, including our famous Larry over here, including him. You can't see it now, but the second he attacks, there you go. He now has a much bigger range to place any kind of crucifixes or any kinds of new meat or new stuns, whatever you desire to call it. So the way this is going to work, I am going to use a fire rate boost to buff all the chefs in the area. I will only use the boost when all 12 chefs are attacking at once. Now, the boss I'm going to be testing this on is a little bit different. So, I'm going to be testing it on this boss here, Airship Easy, which is the Clouded Catastrophe boss on easy mode, which has very, very, like, above average speed, and is kind of tanky for an easy mode boss. Now, if you know anything about the airship bosses, you know that melee troops don't tend to do very well. Well, have I come up with a strat for all of you. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let one of these traps trigger. The second the stun ends on the first trap here, I'm going to summon the crucifix, stun him for another 10 seconds, and do 20% of their maximum health. And we'll see if Chef can actually kill a 125k health boss that's basically stunned into the oblivion. So as you can see here, we have a bunch of bosses coming by. He's coming by. Wait for the first pile to trigger. Okay, it's triggered. Now we wait for him to move. Wait for it. By the way, there's his health up there. Now crucifix. And his health is it's plummeting, alright. Now, is it enough? We'll see. And it is enough. Chef just soloed a boss with 125,000 with nothing but a couple supports and Larry. Good job, Larry. I'm proud of you. Now, the other thing I want to test out is the difference. So, Chef quite literally killed that thing, okay? It didn't even stand a chance. What if we test another stun troop? Or rather, the only other stun troop in the game. Bite. This is an OG tower. Okay, this is one of the original towers of the game. So, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. They did roughly, what is that, 107k. I mean, that's, you know, that's not bad. That works, okay? But, I mean, compare that to, you know, Larry here. Yeah, Larry wins in the boss department. Now, you might be thinking, oh, doesn't that make Bite useless? No, not at all. So, let me show you Bite's main thing. His main thing is that whenever Bite stuns something, he will continue attacking anything that gets past the enemy and will only hit enemies that aren't already stunned. So let's say we were going to spam, oh, I don't know, more ambushes because why not? And let's go ahead and just spam a couple. Okay, I just went out of the menu. Good job, me. Anyway, so let's just spam a couple. And as you can see, they're all getting stunned by Bite. Something that Goblin wouldn't be able to do. And by the way, when they come back around the track, they'll get stunned again. So, yeah, there you go. God, that is loud. Okay, I'm very sorry about that. But yes, as you can see here, it is working. Anyway, so that's what Bite's strength is. It's the fact that he's able to stun multiple fast enemies at once. Unlike Larry here, who can only stun one singular enemy at a time per pile. And the max amount of piles I've seen Larry get is roughly 4. And that's with a balloon power range increase, okay? So, overall, this tower, while broken as hell against bosses, struggles a lot against lesser units. Like, a lot. Overall, I don't think this tower needs a nerf. I think it's perfectly balanced, even though Crucifix is absolutely broken. It's just incredibly fun to use. Having a 17-second stun for your melee troops is just amazing, and I just wish they keep this in the game. But anyway, that's going to do it for the entire video. I guess I'm glad to be back, sort of, after being gone for literally a year. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.